Hello everyone, welcome to the Ranting Shop with me, Melissa. Today we're going to be reviewing Ready to Love Season 9, Episode 5. Happy New Year everyone! So, where I live, we are currently having our Chinese New Year, so Gong Shi Fat Sai. Alright, so now let's get into things. Now, to be honest with you, Will is looking so beachy in this particular episode. He made me really annoyed because these are qualities in men that you notice off the bat and you go in the other direction. This man is so vindictive, right? And it seems cute because it's not directed towards you, Alexis. But when it is directed towards you, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna like it. So we have to be able to spot these types of behaviors and address it with the person and move the other way, or just not even address it, just leave. I just don't understand it. But anyways, let's go through what took place this episode. Justin finally is experiencing his first men's lounge. And of course, some men are like nonchalant and some men are particularly threatened. Okay? Now, he mentions that they're gonna have a pajama party. Now, he insinuates Tommy something sexual. And considering how this season has been stuck on sex, I don't think that really helped the situation. I think it made it worse, and I feel as if it probably gives the men more of a motive to go in the direction of simply sex, which I don't like. But anyways, Dominic and Alexis, they go on a date where they get stretched. Alexis mentions she wants longevity and she wants to be elevated. Dominic wants to be able to lighten the mood or the load with his partner. And he says he doesn't really like words of affirmation. He could show them more than he can tell them. To be honest with you, this date was more so just like establishing a friendship more than anything else. I didn't see any love in any, or romance or lust or like or anything in Alexis's eyes. Neither did I see it in Dominic's eyes. All I saw was, you're cool, let's be friends. Okay, so let's get past that. LaRon and Vanessa, this is like literally the worst date because apparently this was like a yoga thing where they do yoga on the waters, which to me does not work for people who are not good at yoga, first and second of all, is not good at balancing themselves. Like, why would you have that type of date? Now I know it's the producers that set up the dates. The producers say this is the date we're gonna have and this is who is going to go on this date. So I don't think it was LaRon that picked it, because I saw someone in the comment section talking about why would LaRon pick that date. Do you really feel like LaRon would pick that type of date? Some people don't use their common sense. Like, LaRon could barely stay on the paddle. LaRon doesn't know anything about yoga, and neither do I think he could barely swim. So why do you think LaRon would pick a date like this? Even Vanessa, I don't think she'd pick a date like this, because she did a pose and her face hit the board. Like, this could never be something any of them would have chose if they had to make the decision themselves. So they were talking, and then the whole party boy thing comes to light. Vanessa is sharing with him, yeah, like everyone thinks you're a party boy, and it makes LaRon upset. But in my mind, it's like, well, how could it make you upset, LaRon, considering you're the one on the very first episode that were very proudly telling these women you are outside 6 days out of the week. Like, you created that narrative, and now you're seeing that it's making you be perceived in a negative light. You're upset about it. And you're talking about, oh, Vanessa is gonna tell the women. Like, you're very late, because Vanessa is just repeating things she's heard. So the women have been saying this, and Vanessa is probably the only one that has come to you and said to you, this is what I've been hearing about you. So I don't understand, Laron. You can't put something out there and then be mad that these things are circulating everywhere and making you look unserious. I mean, help me understand. So Vanessa and Laurent, they have different types of lifestyles. But what that date made me realize is it made me understand Laurent more when he said that he wants a woman to help him not go out, in a sense. I think that's what he essentially was saying. And with the context that he works at home and he's constantly indoors and he needs to go out for that social aspect of his life, or else I think he'd be unfulfilled in the aspect of socializing with his friend. It made me understand that he needs a woman, or he requires or wants a woman that would make it so that he doesn't have to go out because she's already there. So he already has the socialization aspect in his house and he doesn't have to seek it outside. So that brought more clarity to my understanding. Now, what I will say about this date is, yeah, they're just friends. I don't see anything serious coming out of that, especially because Vanessa is so into Chaz. I don't think she's really into anybody else. And also the fact that Laron is labeled as this party guy is probably not making her draw any closer to him. She already has her preconceived notion about him. So anyways, let's move on to the pajama party. So why did I write Jonathan likes Alexis? Oh yes, Jonathan does like Alexis, and she, I feel like, is a bit hesitant on him because he's not been the most transparent about his life and who he is outside of the person on the show, like the physical aspect of him, what he likes superficially or does like superficially. Nobody knows anything about Jonathan, which I think makes Alexis very hesitant about him. Do I feel like she likes him equally as much as he likes her? No. I just feel like Alexis is a type of woman similar to Patrice, but I think Alexis does it to where it's more apparent. She's trying to appeal to these men even though she's not attracted to them. And according to shows like Married for 10 Years, that's what you're supposed to do in this show. Even if you're not attracted to the guy, the way you play the game is that you're supposed to make them feel like you're attracted to them. You're supposed to make them feel like you listen. You're supposed to be able to make them feel comfortable. You're supposed to make them feel like you relate to them. But the way I perceive this show, I don't like to watch it like it's a game, because to me it defeats the whole purpose of what the show is supposed to be about, which is about finding love. I do believe that, and I do have a problem with the way the show is formatted. I do not agree with people being sent home, especially on the very first episode, because first impressions can be wrong. And there's no way you could really know that because you don't get a chance to let people really get to know who you are or what you are or how you are. I just feel like it's unfair, not to mention the fact that that person could very well have a very strong connection with one person but not with the other people, but they get sent home. To me, I feel like that is unfair because it forces you to have to fake your emotions and your feelings with other people, and I just feel like that's a waste of time. But anyway, let's move on. So Chaz and Vanessa, skinning and grinning, laughing. Vanessa, you could tell she's very interested in Chaz. Do I feel like Chaz is interested in Vanessa? No, I just am not believing it. Based on his facial expressions, it's like he's saying good things, but it doesn't translate to his facial expression. Like what he's saying is detached from his face. So I am unable to believe it. But Vanessa is eating it up. That's what happens when you like a guy. Like you tend to lack the ability to really see them for for everything, not just what they say, but their facial expressions, their body language, their actions. Like, anyways, now Mika and Dominic. Now somebody said that from the very beginning, and I agree. Mika doesn't want children. She started early at 18 having kids. One of her children, she has a girl that's 18 and a boy that's 6 years old, right? So, like married at for 10 years said, the first child she had was probably with a first, second, whatever relationship, and the second child was, in my opinion, a different type of relationship, because that age gap is just too wide, right? But I think she's come to a point where, and I feel like it's because she started having children so young, she's lost interest in having children. She's done it already. She's done it twice, possibly two different relationships. It hasn't worked out. So I feel like she's very hesitant to introduce new children to new relationships, because it's like, I know of women that each relationship they end up in, they have a child. So they probably have like 5 children for 5 different men. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good. And it also makes you look like you lack discernment, because before children, I mean, you should know or have an idea whether that relationship is gonna last or not. Some people say they can't tell, they never knew, everything was so good until a child came and then everything went downhill. But I do believe that I'm a proponent of the fact that there are signs and we just choose to ignore them, like Koshia did with her husband that had many children and she had no clue. But anyways, so I just feel like with the Mika and Dominic situation, let that die. Let that situation die. There's no need to talk to her more, Dominic, and open up any more layers. What are you doing it for? Why are you doing it? Yeah, you guys like each other, okay, so what? But you know that fundamentally you guys don't mix, you don't align, you don't want the same thing. So why even go down that road? I just feel like it's not gonna end well continuing to go down that road, unless you guys have both established, okay, we're gonna be friends. Unless that is established, I don't see the point. She wants children, you don't. Let that be. Now, Alonzo in that bonnet was hilarious, because I understand you're supposed to be dressed up in your PJs, but they didn't really mean to dress like you're going to bed. They just meant wear your pajamas. But anyways, he included the bonnet, and to me that's just part and parcel with Alonzo. He just looks goofy and he acts goofy. I can't lie. Anyways, Jonathan and Koshia, they talk about weight, and I was like, what is this conversation even about? She's telling him what she said to the women, and oh, you need to gain some weight. I mean, I think it's a light-hearted type of joke, but then it's not a joke. I think she's really interested in a heavier type of Jonathan. She's not attracted to him as is, because I feel like a lot of the women feel as if Jonathan is too soft. I wouldn't say he's goofy, he's just too soft, and he doesn't have that swag, he doesn't have that confidence, he doesn't have that thing that women tend to be drawn to. He just doesn't have it. I mean, he could be considered cute, okay, fine, but he doesn't have that confidence and that swag and that dominance. Women like alpha men, women like men that are sure of themselves. But Jonathan doesn't give alpha, he doesn't give sure. So that's what's turning these women off. And I feel like the way Koshia saw it was, well, maybe if visually he looks more masculine, maybe I'd be attracted to that. But still, that wouldn't mean that you being attracted to his physical would translate to anything other than you being attracted to his physical. You know, Because a man could be buff all day, but if he's not an alpha guy and he doesn't have that much confidence, it is gonna translate in the way he acts and the way he behaves and moves within that relationship. And you're still not gonna be attracted to him. So then we have Laurent. Laurent is seeing Koshia working their room and he's getting upset and annoyed. And we have to consider that alcohol is in the mix. So he's getting drunker and drunker, drinking more and more, and getting more and more insecure that Koshia is giving the other men a chance and not focusing only on him. I mean, at the end of the day, that is what you're supposed to do. She was wrong in the first place for focusing so much on Laurent when this is a dating show and she should be working the room. I think now she's doing like a reset and she's realizing she's going about the situation completely wrong in putting all her eggs in one basket and realizing that, okay, let me move differently. And Laurent is taking it a completely different way, which I feel like just speaks to the fact that in general he's just an insecure man, and the fact that he's on the heavier side I feel like makes him even more insecure. That has nothing to do with Koshia. She's doing what she's supposed to do. This is a dating show. She's supposed to date. What are you doing? I remember the date with Maya. You were willing to me to throw Koshia to the wayside for Maya. So I'm confused. It's like you want to be able to do the messing around, but you don't want Koshia to do it. That's so childish. You guys are dating, you barely know each other. So that's just crazy to me. So Will pissed me off this entire episode, as I said before. He's going around trying to figure out who's the one that told him he was sleeping or told people he was sleeping on the floor. Patrice didn't try to hide it. Patrice was like, it was me. I swear this is what you said during our phone calls. And Patrice is looking like she could care less about like what Will is bitching about. Like she could care less. Like her attention is like elsewhere. She's like, I swear that's what you said. And like you would swear he'd have all this smoke for whoever said he was sleeping on the floor. And he's speaking to Patrice and his tone is soft because he knows who to play with. He knows he can't play with Patrice. He knows he can't try that with Patrice. So like his whole tone changed up and oh yeah, because I was kind of mad because he didn't have that smoke for Patrice at all. But he had all the smoke for Koshia though, because apparently he heard something about Koshia saying they're broke. In my mind, it's like keep the same energy because a woman saying you sleep on the floor and a woman saying you're broke, to me that's the same thing. So if you're mad at Patrice or mad at Koshia, be this mad at Patrice. You picking and choosing who you mad at because you know who to play with, Will. I can't stand the man. Now, Will said he wants the kindness and the softness that Maya has to offer, child. He loves it. It's that whole feminine thing. He wants to be around it. So we know for sure that Will's top connection, I'm gonna say, is Maya. Do I feel like Maya is as into Will? Absolutely not. What I've noticed with this show is the only way you can make it far is to act like you like these men. Like if your intention is to make it far and we all know Maya has her waist trainers to sell. Okay, Maya has her waist trainers to sell. So she wants as much visibility from this show as she could get. So she's gonna play the game. So whoever is feeling her, she's gonna give you the impression she's feeling you too. You know, if that's what it takes to bring her as far as she needs to go, she's gonna do that. Patrice, it could be the same game. She has a business to expose or to, make people aware of. So she's gonna play the game. That's how women play the game. You act like you like these men when you don't like these men. You act like you're into their sexual jokes and innuendos when it disgusts you, but you can't say it because if you say it, then you're gonna be sent home. which is why I hate the fact that there's this power dynamic to this thing. It's so annoying. But anyways, so no man wants Mika. When it comes, I don't mean no man wants Mika. What I mean is no man is seeing eye to eye with Mika and what she wants. She doesn't want children. These men want children, especially Jonathan, and it's really bothering me. And it also speaks to how just easily foldable Jonathan is, and women don't find that attractive. You say you want children. Why is it so easy then when you meet these women that don't want it for you to just suddenly be like, oh, it's okay, it's okay? It almost seems as if he's willing to get lost in what these women want just to be in a relationship. But what I really think it is Jonathan is trying to stay on this show as long as he can. So if it means lying to these women and telling them that he's okay with not having children, he's gonna do that. But it's not gonna translate to anything serious outside of this show because fundamentally they don't want the same things. He doesn't want what Rashina wants. He doesn't want what Mika wants. But he's gonna say he does. He's gonna say he's okay with it because he wants to stay on this show. And I feel like that's why the women are not attracted to him, right? And I don't buy him and Rashina at all. I don't. It's interesting because you really don't know who Jonathan likes. Jonathan has not really shown who he likes at all. I don't think he likes Rashina. I don't think he really likes Mika like that. I don't feel like he likes anyone, to be completely honest. All right. So Jonathan and Koshia, I'm like, what are they talking about? About nails, and he likes her feet, and some type of stupid conversation they were having. And then Laurent comes and interrupts, and they have this big blow up of him feeling like Koshia is playing him because she's been distant and been this and that. And Koshia is telling him, yes, I've been distant. I'm not saying I haven't been, but I have been that way because this is a process and I want to be able to, see what the other men have to offer and allow you the opportunity to see what the other women have to offer. And I don't see anything wrong with what Koshia said. I know people want to dislike Koshia because she's aggressive, she's combative, she's argumentative, and she's all these things. But as I said before, that is a facade for a very soft person. That is a facade for a very delicate type of individual. And a lot of people don't have patience to get past the aggression and the loudness, and they don't have the patience to go past that to see what it is that is making her that way, and that's really unfortunate. And I'm not gonna get on the bandwagon of bashing Koshia because I understand how she is this way and why she is that way. And it cannot be, how do I say it? It cannot be approached with that same aggression and anger and upset. Like, you cannot combat her behavior by being the same way she is. That doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't make anything change. It doesn't create any positive change. It just makes it worse. I don't understand why people can't just see that, Anyways, so they talk. Koshia is upset. She's like, Laron is acting belligerent. I'm literally telling him what's happening, and he's literally just throwing it off as if like what I'm doing is so wrong. At the end of the day, Laron, as I said already, you guys are on a dating show. You are supposed to date. So the way you're getting on is stupid. And the fact that he was drunk is exactly why. Now remember, people say when you're drunk is when you're being your true self. So this is really who Laron is. He's immature, he is selfish, and he's unserious. And I don't know what Koshia was even thinking, getting herself attached to Laurent, like to the point of you crying. That's crazy. So the men are trying to talk sense into Laurent, and it's like talking to a brick wall because he's drunk. His ego is as sky high, and how dare she try to, talk to other men, which is crazy. Y'all are not in any type of relationship. This is wild. Okay? Now, Charles is coming, telling him like this woman is crying over you because there are feelings there that she has for you. Oh, I ain't trying to see that. She's trying to play me. Jonathan had to come in as well to reinforce what Charles is saying, and this brick wall is just unwilling to listen. Anyways, let's move on. Then, oh, I forgot to add, Maya comes. Oh, he said I'm this. Oh, he said I'm this. Oh. Which to me just came from left field. Like these people are having a whole back and forth, and she's coming in. I guess I'm convinced that producers will like, Maya, go over there and talk about something else. Go over there and break it up. I'm convinced. Because that was weird. Then he goes to her and he's like, because she says, oh, he's a party boy. So he goes to her and he's like, I'm not a party boy. And he goes and he tries to put his hand over Maya's mouth. And that's just and whisper in her ear that he's not a party boy. That's just crazy to me. That disrespect. And Koshia is like, I didn't like that. And he's like, I don't care. The man is so immature. It's just crazy to me. So let's move on to the men's lounge. Wait, before the men's lounge, we need to talk about this. Now, they're playing a game of truth or romance or whatever nonsense it was. I'm not gonna speak on everything, just the fact that Will and Jonathan were fighting over who's gonna kiss Alexis's feet. Will decides to do his form of kissing her feet, which Jonathan said, well, he could have done a better job because Will just kissed his hands and then put it on her feet. And then Jonathan goes, picks up Alexis in a way that is very sexually suggestive and rubs his face in her neck. And I don't know if he was trying to say something to her or if he was licking on her neck or rubbing on her neck. I don't know what was going on. It just looked crazy. It looked very awkward. Maya, of course, gives Jonathan her least connection a twerk. So I don't know what's going on. It was just crazy. Will and Alonso had to come and pick Alexis off of Jonathan. That was mad, crazy, awkward as hell. Okay? Now, the men put Koshia and Mika at the bottom. In my opinion, I understand why they pick Koshia, because she's rubbed a lot of these guys the wrong way. Because the thing with Koshia is, I don't feel like she's willing to play the game that much, to the point where she lets people disrespect her. And I feel like that's the difference between Koshia and the other women, like Patrice and Alexis. Is like they feel offended, but they rather keep it to themselves and say it in the confessionals than address these men and say, no, I don't like that, because they're just afraid of being sent home. So fight's working, so I guess that's the thing to do, is hide your feelings and make it far, I guess. Now, in my opinion, Alonso's explanation for choosing Koshia was so stupid. You were trying to take a piss with that woman, and she wasn't having it. She wasn't having the nonsense. And you guys have then apologized to each other, but still you wanted to be sent home. I feel like it's kind of unfair, because it just speaks to the fact that although you did apologize, you don't think you did anything wrong, Alonso. And I have a problem with you about that, because you were definitely gaslighting this woman. and she was not gonna have it. And for you to want to punish her because she's not willing to take on your mess is crazy. Anyway, I said Will is a beach to me. He brings up us saying the men have no money. And I'm like, well, do you? Because if you did, it wouldn't bother you. And again, he didn't have all that smoke for Patrice, who said he was sleeping on the floor. Mika doesn't think she gives home vibes, home girl vibes, but literally the men said that. One of the men literally said, Mika gives more homey. And I feel like a lot of the men feel that way, especially because most of them want children and Mika does not. So you already disqualified yourself from all of these men. So why do you, Mika, still want to be there? It's what is baffling to me. Now, Koshia, of course the men are not gonna like her. She doesn't submit to them. She doesn't play the game. But anyway, Mika doesn't think she gives homegirl vibe. I feel that. Will is the one who was put off by the chatter because Will is the one that was supposed to deliberate over this elimination, and he's like, oh, the men are hearing chatter. No, in the men's lounge, you were the only one that mentioned anything about chatter coming from Koshia. So just say it was you. And that's the thing I don't like about these men. It reminds me of the whole combative thing last season where this guy is like, he's the only one that called the woman combative, but then he's trying to make it seem like all the men called her combative. Like in this case, only Will had an issue about what Koshia was saying. He was probably the only one Koshia was talking about. But he makes it seem like, oh, the men. It's not the men, it was you. Like, cut the shit. The men hide behind the other men, and I just don't like it. I want Mika to leave next episode, but it is going against my better judgment. I feel as if they're gonna let go of Koshia. A lot of people want Koshia to leave. They don't like her, the way she's handling things. And to be honest with you, if Koshia is in fact eliminated, I don't think I'll be that interested in watching the other episodes, just because I'm not that interested in the other contestants. To be honest, I'm not. There's not one couple there that I am interested in watching the journey of. None, like not even one. Okay, but anyways, I feel like Koshia is gonna go home, and what reinforces that is that there was an interview that Lamar did with Little Black Book where he said something about she's next. So how do I say that? I translate this as she leaves the next episode, which is unfortunate because I feel as if Koshia actually had a connection with Laron. Mika has no connection with anyone. Neither do I feel like anything will blossom the longer she stays. All of these guys say Mika is their friend. So you guys prefer to keep a friend than to keep somebody that has a connection with somebody else? I just feel like it's unfair. And the fact that Laron is like, his least connection is Alexis, for Will to take it as if Laron is trying to sabotage his connection is crazy to me. Because this is supposed to be how each individual man feels about each woman. And that just proves the fact that these men, they form alliances and they're like, oh, let's kick Koshia out next because Koshia said this about me and Koshia said that about me. Let's kick her out, which is something I think Laron is going to address next episode. I absolutely feel like these men, when they ask them who's their least connection, it is done in a manner that is strategic. So essentially, Lauren is supposed to lie and pick somebody else because Alexis is your connection. Make it make sense. That man said, that is my experience. Alexis might be vibing with you, but they didn't ask you. They asked me what my least connection was, and my least connection was Alexis. I don't understand Will. Will is so upsetting. I'm so annoyed with that man. I don't want to see his love connection blossom. I really don't. I don't care to see it, to be honest. He's gotten me that annoyed. Anyways, you guys, I've gone on way too long. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Let me know what you feel about this episode in the comment section. Bye.